Greetings, seekers of forgotten truths. Tonight, we descend into the void, into the black heart of creation itself. This is the tale of Erebus, the primordial god of darkness, a force older than the Titans, older than the Olympians, older even than light itself. He is the silent abyss between the stars, the shadow that swallows all things, the whisper of oblivion that lingers at the edge of existence. If you enjoy mythological epics laced with darkness and philosophy, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me your favorite mythological being, whether it be kings, warriors, demons, angels, or monstrous creatures. Now let us begin our descent into the abyss. The birth of darkness. Before the earth, before the sky, before even time itself, there was only chaos. This was no mere emptiness, but an all-consuming void, a swirling storm of formless potential. It was neither good nor evil, neither still nor violent. It simply was. And from this abyss, the first primordial forces were born, shaping the universe itself. One of these first beings was Erebus, the very embodiment of darkness. He did not arise as a god in the way Zeus or Poseidon would later reign. Rather, he was an elemental force, an unfathomable absence that existed before light was ever conceived. Where there was void, there was Erebus. Yet he was not alone. With him was his twin and consort Nyx, the goddess of night. If Erebus was the depth of darkness, Nyx was the one who draped it over the world, a living veil of shadow. Together, they danced at the edges of creation, weaving the cosmic forces that would later shape the world. Their union was not one of love in the mortal sense. They did not rule from a throne, nor did they seek worship. They simply were, existing beyond the comprehension of the gods and men who would follow. From Erebus and Nyx, many children were born. Some feared, some revered, all powerful. 2. The offspring of the abyss. The children of Erebus and Nyx were not Olympian in nature. They were not beings of thunder or sea, of war or wisdom. They were fundamental forces, shaping existence itself. Hypnos, sleep, and Thanatos, death. Twin gods who ruled over the end of wakefulness and the final silence of mortality. Momos, blame, the god of mockery and harsh judgment, the voice of scorn whispering in men's ears. Eris, strife, the goddess of discord, who would one day cast the golden apple that ignited the Trojan War. Nemesis, retribution, the shadow that followed hubris, ensuring that all who reached too high would fall. Geras, old age, the slow decay that even the strongest cannot escape. But despite these children shaping the very fabric of existence, Erebus himself remained a mystery. Unlike Nyx, who was worshipped and feared even by Zeus, Erebus had no temples, no followers. His presence was one that simply existed, unseen but undeniable. For darkness is not something to be worshipped. It is something that simply is. 3. The war against light. For an eternity, Erebus reigned in silence. His darkness was absolute, a vast and endless abyss stretching across the newborn cosmos. But then, something changed. From Nyx came two new forces: Ether, heavenly light, and Hemera, day. With Ether came a radiance that pushed back the shadows. With Hemera came the passage of time, the rise and fall of the sun. Together, these two forces challenged Erebus in a way nothing ever had before. At first, the struggle was subtle. Light and darkness intertwined, warring in silence. Where one spread, the other retreated, only to return when the first weakened. Thus, the cycle of night and day was born, an eternal war between the light of the heavens and the abyss of Erebus. This was not a war fought with weapons or armies. It was something deeper, more inevitable. Each sunrise was a rebellion against Erebus. Each sunset was his silent return. The world was caught between the two, forever shifting, forever struggling. And yet, Erebus did not rage against this. He did not seek to conquer or destroy. He knew the truth that neither Ether nor Hemera could ever accept. Light cannot exist without darkness. Though the gods and mortals turned toward the sun, though they celebrated the coming of day, they would always return to the shadows. No matter how bright the fire burned, it would one day flicker out. And when all light was gone, Erebus would remain. The forgotten abyss. As ages passed, the gods of Olympus rose to power. Zeus conquered the Titans. The world was shaped, and mankind flourished. But with this rise came forgetfulness. The Olympians were creatures of sky and sea, of war and wisdom, of love and revelry. They built temples, received prayers, and wove their influence into every corner of mortal life. But Erebus? Erebus was forgotten. He did not demand offerings. He did not meddle in mortal affairs. He did not wage war like the Titans, nor guide the fates like the Olympians. He simply existed, beyond their reach. And yet, his presence was felt. Each shadow cast by Apollo's golden chariot was a whisper of Erebus. Each nightfall that swept across the land was his silent embrace. Even Hades, god of the underworld, could not claim full dominion over the dead. For before souls entered his realm, they first passed through the darkness of Erebus. The poets of Greece, though they rarely spoke his name, understood this truth. They knew that Erebus was not gone. He was merely unseen. And so, Erebus became more than a god. He became something greater, something eternal. He became the inevitable darkness that awaits all things. The final return. The myths of Olympus faded. The gods themselves, once worshipped by thousands, were reduced to legend. The world turned to new faiths, new philosophies. The light of knowledge burned brighter than ever. But even now, Erebus remains. For as long as shadows stretch across the land, as long as the void between stars remains untouched, Erebus will never truly be gone. He is not a god to be worshipped. He is not an enemy to be defeated. He is the darkness before birth, the silence after death, the abyss that will outlast all things. And when the last sun dies, when the universe itself collapses into the black void from which it was born, Erebus will rise again. For in the end, all things return to darkness. And so our tale ends. But the abyss remains. If you enjoyed this journey into the forgotten corners of mythology, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Who is your favorite mythological character? Be they warriors, kings, demons, or celestial beings? Let's keep the discussion of the ancients alive. Until next time, may the shadows be kind to you. Farewell, seekers of the unknown.